Hi, thank you for tuning in to Living Out Loud. My name is Kai Ramenper and I'm here with the Arlington Council on Aging. Today we're going to be talking about community and what it means to re-enter it when you come back. We have today with us Swan Anderson, who will give us a little insight on what that feels like and what it means to do that.
Hi, it's really wonderful to be here in Arlington and in the studio. My husband and I were both brought up in Arlington and left about 40 years ago and lived in Boxborough for 37 years. So I'd been in Boxborough longer than I'd actually lived in Arlington, and that had become home. When it came time for us to move back, my husband was thrilled and I was terrified. So it's a long time to be away from the place you grew up in, and you know how they say you can't go back. It was, the first 2 years were definitely more difficult for me for a lot of reasons. I had to relearn how to get any place from Arlington. My sense of where I'm starting from was very different. So even trying to figure out which way is 128, where you know,
Right.
it was south of me before, and now it's, you know, or however that goes. But it's so physically getting around town and learning how to navigate the traffic and knowing when are the good times to go out to do food shopping or not. And just the basics of getting into coming back here, I wasn't sure that it would be so difficult. It was difficult, and truthfully, I felt slightly isolated. Meanwhile, my lovely husband was thrilled to be back in town with all his old cronies, most of whom still live here. So it was a much easier transition for him. So the first 2 years, I spent a lot of time walking my dog, and reacquainting myself with the physicality of being in a city as opposed to Boxborough, which was much quieter and much less traffic. Little by little, I've been able to plug in. So plugging in eventually took a determined effort on my part. It didn't just fall from the heavens and drop in my lap. I had to really say, okay, you got to get moving here, and I need to take it on my own. And one of the things we did when we first got back in the area was to join the YMCA in Woburn. So both of us go there 3 days a week. And that was a great plug-in, but it still wasn't hooking me up in town. And I wanted to know more about who Arlington was when I got here, what kind of a town it was. When I left, I was politically totally unsophisticated and could have cared less, quite frankly. We were busy being young and childless and really having a lot of fun when we first got married. Coming back is in a very different place. I'm 71, definitely older, and maybe in some things I'm a little bit wiser, but I thought I could handle this transition better than I did. So the fact that it's taken me 3 years to really start to feel like this is home is a big surprise to me. So the first thing I'd say is give yourself time if you're re-entering, if you're coming back to a place. It's never the same you left it, obviously. I'm thrilled now to be here. And there are some certain things that have plugged me in, and not the least is the Council on Aging. And I used to drive for senior citizens in Boxborough, and seniors driving seniors. You know how that is, right? And so I went in and volunteered for something that I'd done before in Boxborough and plugged in, and I met Bill.
Bill is just incredible. He was on our show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw that interview. and he was phenomenal. He had such a personality and such a draw. He just knows how to be himself with people, and he was in a great position, I think. And he started asking me, what are you interested in? You know, what kind of things you want to plug into, and how can I help you with that? And that was above and beyond what I expected to get when I went in for my first interview with him.
What did you expect, if I may ask?
I'd go to say I'm here to volunteer for, you know, driving, if anybody needs medical driving to and from. And I thought that would be a little conversation, and I'd leave, and that would be the end of it, and I'd get phone calls, and I'd start. It wasn't that at all. We ended up talking for I don't really remember, but it was well over an hour. We found all these commonalities that we had between us. And he just had such a zest for life, and that energy is catchy.
Oh,
you know?
It is.
Isn't it amazing when someone, so he has that ability, and I'm sad that he was retiring just as I was coming in, because I thought, oh, this guy is so much fun, you know. But he took the time to see that I was looking for connections, and then actually tried to facilitate that. And he's the one that suggested, well, have you been up to the Arlington cable? And I said, cable? You know. It was like just a foreign world. And I have to be honest here, I never watch cable, local cable TV. I just don't. It hasn't been anything I've ever plugged into, and I really hadn't really plugged into it in Boxborough either. We didn't have a cable station in Boxborough. So I said, sure, I'll try that, and he sort of encouraged me, and then I plugged in with you, which was wonderful.
Right, that's how your application came to my desk.
Was from Bill.
Was from Bill. He had stopped by and said, hey, I have this friend, and she's wonderful, give her a ring.
Oh.
And I just remember sitting at my desk and being like, Swan Anderson, great name. And who knew? You know, it's been a month since we first connected over the phone, and we really got to know each other, and it was just amazing, right? To now have you here on the show.
It is amazing.
So what has that been like, you know, to have somebody introduce something to you that you didn't really expect, and then have a phone call from me saying, all right, let's get you in the studio, let's get you here, seeing what it's about. What did that feel like? A
lifeline, honestly. It felt like a lifeline. First of all, I liked the idea, and I thought, well, someday I'm going to stop up there, but I'm not much good at walking in cold off the street and saying, hi, here I am, and having people look at me like, Swan. You know, I just wasn't, I don't know if I would have gone forward with it. Then to receive the call from you, and you had so much enthusiasm and excitement, and that's just what I was looking for, life force, you know. So we met here, and I'm going to gush about this, but the first time I came in, everybody I met took a few minutes to say hello. Everybody took time to talk to me and introduce themselves and say, well, what are you here for, and what do you want to learn? And all I could think was, everything. I want to learn everything. You know, I want to learn how to do a camera. I used to sing with Sweet Adelines. Get my hands down. Sing a few years with Sweet Adelines, several actually. And I was always intrigued with the cameras, the lighting, the sound. What are the mechanics that brings us all together? And I always wanted to learn that, and then just never had the time to go ahead and do it. So as soon as I got in here, and then they were taping you, doing spots for Council on Aging, and that was just intriguing. And the people that were running the cameras, and then I went downstairs, and there's just all these young people here. There's life force here, there's energy, and you can feel the creativity. And I didn't give it much thought, but after I came home, and my husband said, boy, are you wired? And I said, I'm so excited. I found a place where I can learn new things, where I can be with younger people. My husband and I don't have children, so plugging into your generation is kind of difficult to do. And this was a perfect spot to do it. And since that time, I've been back several Thursdays, which is my one day. You know, you pick your time, I guess, and I kept meeting new people and seeing different projects that people were on. And Jonathan showed me how to use a camera, and we went through that little bit of a handheld camera that you can, anybody in Arlington, in case you don't know this, anybody in town can come in here, and they have all this camera equipment that you can sign out for, and they'll even show you how to use it. My understanding is if you have a project that you would like to do, they're more than happy to facilitate that and help fill your gaps in the knowledge. And So the energy is palpable. The joy I think I find of being here is so, it's the best thing I've done since I've come to town.
And this is new for you, camera work and all of this sort of filming is new for you, right?
I don't know a thing about it, but I'm going to. I really don't know a thing about it. I've always, you know, in performance art, I was on stage, but never had been involved in what actually brought this all together. And then and then the news program was totally new. So now I start listening to Channel 31 in background at the house where I used to have the radio on. I have the cable TV, so if I hear something that really piques my interest, I can go running in, oh, what's this? There's a lot happening. There's a lot of talent. I'm really impressed. I have no comparison, obviously, to other cable stations in other towns, but Arlington is just vibrant. So that's one of my biggest plug-ins.
You know, we talk a lot about age-friendly and what it means to re-enter a community and explore all of the opportunities that it has. And a lot of people are nervous, they're hesitant, are scared to really start new things. They think, you know, once you hit a certain age, you can't explore those. So I think that you're a really phenomenal example of trying new things, breaking past those walls, getting out and saying, you know what, yeah, I want to learn, and I'm so glad that you're here doing that with me today. Is there anything that really prevented you from doing that, from really getting involved?
I think health is part of it. If your health is challenged, and I had just had a hip replacement surgery before I moved back to Arlington, and I pretty much needed a cane to walk around. So I had a very sick dog, so there was a lot of, she was very time consuming and I loved her dearly. And so having the energy to do it, health is important. And it's almost which comes first, the chicken or the egg. Because what I needed to do was to get out of my own way and plug in and not be intimidated by having to walk somewhere with a cane. You know, part of me just doesn't want to do that. And I'm much less needy of that these days. But that prevented me from my own insecurities about looking old or not being able to keep up or that kind of thing. And part of that was because my health wasn't really, I was tired a lot. I was recovering and it took a while. And then once I started to get back to the gym and started to become physically active, then my mind started to work better and I felt more confident. So the big thing that stopped me was not feeling a sense of energy and not plugging in to people around me that are energized and creative and willing and open. And I needed, which came first, the chicken and the egg. I needed to start to feel better, but in order to feel better, I really needed to take a risk. So, yeah, I think health plays a lot in how confident you are about reaching out and trying new things.
Do you think that things have changed for you since you've gotten involved? I mean, you've had such a journey of overcoming the things that kept you from plugging in, and what has life looked like after that? We talk about engagement and the benefits of engagement, but can you attest to sort of how things have changed since then?
Wow, can I ever? Can I ever? It's honestly, I wasn't confident I could get back to a place of dynamic life force. And darn, if I haven't done that, or it hasn't happened to me. So taking the risk, reaching out, being the person that says, I'm going to try this, and with the support of the community and the plugins that I got from the COA, from Bill, from you, big time from you, because you were very welcoming, and I actually had I realized when I came here that first day that my brain was firing, you know, and I always visualize things, you know, and I could see these little sparks in front of my eyes. Oh, my brain's just, and I had all these ideas and that juice, that life force that gives you the creativity and gives you ideas. I forgot what you asked me, but whatever you asked me.
We're talking about the process, how things have changed.
Yeah, things have changed because now life is so much more lovely and has so many more possibilities. And it's just stretching out in front of me. And so it's like I'm making a choice and I'm being given this opportunity to grow and learn and expand and be excited about life again. And the kids here, you know, you kids, sorry.
That's okay.
But, you know, you're all at that stage in your life that promotes that challenge and that joy and that recognition. And it's not easy being your age and going through school and having jobs and the whole kind of thing, but it reminds me of what it's like to be you and to plug into that. And sort of I'm piggybacking on all the energy that everybody has around here. So it's opened doors for me. I've gone back to singing in group circle singing, which has been a wonderful thing to do and plugged me into a woman's community singing circle that I go to. I just came off a wonderful weekend at Rowe Conference Center, and that was 40 women coming together to learn music and create harmony and sound and sisterhood and just fun, laugh. Oh, we laughed. A lot of things, and I might not have attempted that. I might not have attempted going on that weekend before I'd come here. I would have thought, oh, I can't do that. It's too much walking, it's too much driving, it's, you know, I'm not going to have the energy, and that's not true at all. So it's really given me a belief that I can keep learning, keep experiencing, and make that choice. You know, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but however long I'm going to be here, I want to continue to make the choice of joy and life force, and mostly gratitude, you know. Gratitude for every day. I wake up in the morning and I say, oh, another day, yay, I'm here, I'm ready, you know, and some days I'm like, okay, I'm here, I'm ready, but a lot of days it's yay, I'm here and I'm ready, and whatever the day is going to bring, so.
That's incredible. You know, I think a lot in my own life, I talk about how growth is continuous. Everyone tells you that you never stop growing and everything is an opportunity. But our time together has been really great for me to reiterate the fact that growth is continuous. And whether you're 24 or 71 or 90 or 12, we always have these opportunities in our community to engage, to reconnect with people, to build relationships.
Yeah.
I'm so excited and I'm so happy that we've had this connection. I do want to ask you what you see in the future. Like you say, all of these doors are open for you. What are some of the things that you want to do? If you've thought about it, where do you want to go from here? Sorry,
That's a dangerous question.
Throw a lot at you.
You know what? I want to become more of a political activist. So there. When the Women's Walk happened, there was no way I could make that. I wanted to be there in the worst way. And I probably could have. I saw other people out there with walkers and canes and the whole thing, but I let my own lack of self-confidence inhibit me. There are a lot of things I care about now that years ago I really didn't care about politics. Now I'm plugged in. And there are things that are really important to me that I want to become, somehow I want to find a way to support the things that are important to me in the political world, and how do I do that? That's one thing. I want to, I found how important it is for me to be with people of spirit, people who love openly, people who laugh like hell, like heck. People who like to laugh and like a good joke and like having fun. People who can trust. So in looking for friends, and believe it or not, I've made some friends since I've been here, so that's an interesting thing, to make new friends now. And I'm in talking, having our discussions, our breakfast together and gabbing and talking and sharing, I realized that those are the people I want to be around. I want to be around people who are plugged in, who are respectful of differences, and find ways to communicate with my friends and family who feel differently than I do about things. How can I do that? How can I listen? And not always have to have my perspective out there, but how can I be there in a loving, listening place so that relationships can continue and perhaps even heal and grow? It's all about love. It's all about who you hang out with. I'm much more plugged into being with people. And doesn't sound like that's important, does it? But
no, it's absolutely important.
Yeah, I don't want a job. I do want to paint again. I want to go back to watercolors, and I wanted to find a creative expression in the arts. And I'd like to get back into some form of that too, because that's a piece I miss and I haven't done for a number of years. So I'm looking for a good watercolor group to get into and join. Anybody out there? So I just want to make sure that I'm aware of every moment in my life, that I can really be totally present and aware and to remember gratitude. So.
You have so much wisdom that you're giving me right now. I think that it's so important for everyone to remember that we can do the things that we love, or even find new things that we love to do, and to find people to share those passions with, and how amazing and incredible life is when you're doing those things that you love with people who enjoy them. That's a huge part of the work that I do in my personal life, and also here at the Council on Aging. We're trying to make sure that people are loving life and helping them find ways to do that. So it's really great to hear that you came to Arlington a little bit hesitant about re-entering and didn't really know how to do that, but you've found a way to enter and then also see a future here in the community. We talk so much about intergenerational, what it means as friends to be at a table talking about our experiences, and then at the council talking about what the benefits are of intergenerational work. What would you say has been some highlights about being sort of intergenerational friends and having these discussions that we've been having?
Our discussions have been amazing. I think we sort of hit it off right away, and that was amazing in itself. And you have the kind of presence in you that is wise beyond your years, and that you gave me a space to be with you. I didn't have to work my way in. You were sort of energetically there and open to a shared relationship. But I had no idea how hearing each other's stories and sharing things, and sharing some difficult things that we've shared, and seeing that we could stay in that process of conversation that might have been difficult to find a pathway through to understanding, but we didn't give up on each other, and we stayed with that. And that, as you know from our breakfast discussion this morning, has sort of bubbled over into my personal life and an experience there. And to have your input about how some of your suggestions about how to handle that with people, so the intergenerational thing has absolutely surprised me. You've totally, it's not like I had any preconceived ideas, but you just blew away any limitations that I might have had about having a relationship with a younger person on an equal footing. I don't feel like we're, senior and this young. I don't get that feeling when you and I are sharing and discussing about things about ourselves, sharing with each other. So that disappears and the connection comes through and the willingness to risk in a relationship. So thank you so much for that. I'm just so grateful for it, and it's vital to my wanting to come back here, really, has been the relationship with you.
Well, that was very sweet. Thank you. You have given me so much life, and I really do treasure sort of intergenerational work that we've been doing in the technical terms, but also just as friends, getting to be a part of this new journey that you have here in Arlington. I think it's been really amazing to hear your story and to really just create this atmosphere that you are energetic about and that you love. I think that for our listeners at home, they can listen to your story and realize that there are opportunities for them to get involved, for them to connect with other people of different ages, and to really maybe explore things that they hadn't considered exploring in the past. I'm truly thankful, and I'm so glad that you're here on the show with us today.
I just thought of one more thing. May I say it?
Sure.
In listening to you say that, I wanted to say to everybody that you have a story. You have potential, and this is the place to come and share your story. It really is. I mean, this network is giving you that opportunity. Everybody has, we were talking about that today, everybody has something in their life, a story about who they are, and I want to hear that.
I do too, and that is a great way to end our show today. Consider the stories that we have and how our community can be a part of that story. If it's not already, how can it be? So thank you so much, Swan, for being on the show today. It's been incredible. I hope that you can say the same about your time here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been fun.
And for our listeners at home, consider your story, and if the community right now is a part of it, and if you want it to be a part of. Thank you so much. I hope that you can tune in to our next segment on Living Out Loud.